So even though you just got version 13 on the Model Y like 2 days ago, last night we're up in Nashville and version 13 came through for the Cybertruck. So I made a trip over to a supercharger nearby that had Wi-Fi, because it takes these big updates a while to download, and my phone hotspot just was not doing it. So anyway, got it loaded last night, went ahead and topped off at the supercharger while I was downloading it, installed it last night, and now we're going to take it for a spin. We've only got about an hour. We're seeing a concert here at the Grand Ole Opry in just a little while, so I'm going to get a ride in. I'm going to drop a pin somewhere on the map. I wanted to get over toward downtown, but we're kind of on the outskirts of Nashville, so I don't think I can make it all the way over there and back in time. So we're going to do what we can. So I hope you enjoy the video. Let's see where we want to drop this pin. I need to only make this about 20 minutes each way. So let's see. I don't know if I've got time to cross the river over here. Anyway, let's just go. What if we go like over here somewhere? $17 minutes. That should work. Looks like it's some highway going through some neighborhoods and stuff. Not much downtown area, just because, like I said, that's kind of on the border of the amount of time we've got left. But let's do it. All right, so this update introduced the speed profiles, just like I talked about in the Model Y in the last video, that I really like. What I may do is do normal on the way there and do hurry on the way back, and we'll see if there's any time change. It's not apples to apples because it won't be the exact same drive, but we'll just see how that compares. Let's see. All right, what I'm gonna do is just pull out to where we can engage FSD. We've got our steering wheel icon. So I'm gonna click us to the left. So now we're in standard, if you can see that. And we'll see how.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Rudy Circle.
So I already see we've got a giant 18-wheeler parked in this exit lane right here. So it doesn't want to go left. You can see it on the screen here. It sees that truck. We're going around it. Nice and
now
smooth.
turn left onto Rudy Circle. In 500 feet, turn right onto Music Valley Drive. Now turn right onto Music Valley Drive.
So we're going to see the group for King and Country tonight at the Grand Ole Opry, their annual Christmas show. Anybody who's not seen them in concert, you really need to see them in concert. They are amazing. They're all awesome musicians. They've got a big band, and they've got a lot of different styles of music that they play. A lot of different musical instruments, and they'll just swap up and go pick up another instrument and play. They're very talented. Always put on a really good show.
In 500 feet, turn left onto McGavock Pike.
Really, one of the fun things about full self-driving, and I realize like everybody's got GPS now, whether it's on your phone or your vehicle navigation, so it's not like pretty much everybody doesn't have access to digital maps that can tell you exactly where to go. But to be in a city that you're not familiar with and just be able to punch in your destination, or like I just dropped a pin in a random spot and said take me there, and then just clicked this button and it's just going to drive me there. You know, it's still not perfect. There's times that I need to help it along, and usually it's more just little annoyance things, like, you know, it's at a yield sign and it's kind of hanging there a little bit too long and you don't want people to honk at you, so you give it a little bit of accelerator and it'll go. That's mostly what you're dealing with now. Like, there's really, I don't remember the last time I had like a safety important type intervention. Yeah. mostly every time you disengage now, it's not really doing what I would do, so I'm gonna help it along. So it looks like right here it's gonna have us
feet, turn left to take the Tennessee 155
get on
West
155. For anybody that happens to be, this is your first video watching, this is Tesla's FSD, full self-driving. It's doing everything. So I try to keep this view wide enough where you can see my steering wheel and my, where my pedals are down here. It handles it all. So blinkers, which bring up blind spot camera automatically, all the turning, braking, acceleration, lane changes, interstate entrance and exit, interchange, when you're swapping from one highway to another, to interstate to the next interstate. It does it all. It does everything. And a lot of people don't even realize that is a thing right now. I mean, there's a lot of cars that have like intelligent type cruise control, where it'll keep your distance between you and the next vehicle, keep you in the lane to some degree. But to sit here and watch, I mean, basically as a passenger in the driver's seat, essentially, it's a pretty amazing thing to watch. So as you can see, no hands, no feet, light turned green, blinker was already on, it's just going. Got moderate highway traffic up here, which you'll see it's accelerating up to merging speed. It's using all of its 8 cameras at the same time. Merge on over into the road, and it'll make all the decisions too. If it, like in this lane, it sees, hey, this car's going kind of slow, I want to go faster, so it put on its blinker, got on over. We're on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lane highway right now, and it truly is so smooth now that I really think if somebody got in and didn't know that I wasn't driving right now and wasn't watching me, you would not be able to tell. It's extremely smooth, and just really, really impressive. I mentioned this in the last video, but if you've never experienced it, if you've never ridden in one with full self-driving, reach out to me. I want to take you for a ride, because even after I've been using this for over a year now, I've been making videos just trying to get the word out about what these things can do. If you haven't experienced it yet, reach out to me, text me, email me, send me a message, and we'll go ride around somewhere, and I'll show you what this thing can do. It's amazing. It's not just Cybertruck. All Teslas have this capability. Every single Tesla they make has all of the hardware, all the cameras, the neural net processor, everything that it takes to process all the information and do this is built into every single Tesla. Now you do have to buy the software. It does cost. You can either do a subscription, or you can pay for it outright and not have a monthly payment. If you just want to buy the software and have it on the vehicle without the monthly subscription. But just if you want to try it out, it's like 99 bucks for a month. Just buy it for a month. You can cancel it if you decide you're not going to use it that much. But if you use it and go on like a road trip, it pays for itself, just in the reduction in mental fatigue, just in the driving fatigue of being in an unknown place, trying to keep track of which lane do I need to be in, is this the third one from the left, because I'm going to make a right, but then I got to, like, it just takes all that away. Maybe I'm the only one that got kind of stressed about having to be the navigator when I got, a kid in the back that's talking, and my wife's asking me questions, and I'm a little bit directionally challenged anyway.
Now take exit 15 on the right.
It was a real point of stress, being places that I'm not familiar with and trying to navigate, and not running anything while I'm trying to figure out what turn I'm supposed to make. It really, I've gotten to trust it so much, and I'm still cautious enough that I pay attention.
Now take exit 15
but
on the right.
I've had over a year of experience with it, and it gets better and better with every update.
Now take exit 15
It is
on the
just,
left.
it has gotten insanely good. To the point where I think this is the period of time when you've got to be the most cautious, because like it's getting to the point where it really is a better driver than I am, most of the time, because it can see all around the car at all times, and it doesn't get distracted ever. It doesn't get sleepy ever. It knows exactly where it's going and where it wants to go. And while it's doing the navigation, it also is making sure that it's avoiding exiting the lane that it's in. It's avoiding any kind of impact. It's avoiding some car cutting you off, and maybe you're looking out the window looking at something that you've not, you're in another city. You're like, okay, go look at that. Somebody cuts you off. It doesn't matter with FSD because it's not looking anywhere else besides where it needs to look. It's got 8 cameras fixed all around the car, 3 up front, 2 looking this way, 2 looking that way, and 1 looking backwards. And it just does its thing. It's going to get to the point where these videos are just going to be kind of boring, because I'm just going to be sitting here talking, and I really don't like to hear myself talk. But hopefully you can really see kind of some of the decisions that it's making as far as the lane changes, if you're behind a slower vehicle like this dumpster truck right here, you get over to the left, it's going to pass the truck. Now, it may not immediately hop over, but if the car behind me, there's a white car that's behind me, it's hard to tell just by looking at it. It may be approaching. Yeah, so it's going to get on back over, just like a person would, just like you should, out of the passing lane. Now, I've got another vehicle that's about to merge in up here, so he's going to have to be let in. The car in front of me just slowed. I was wondering if he was going to go on past and let this car come in behind him. But one thing that's kind of cool, and you realize as you get used to it, as you use it more and more, kind of what it's doing, because as human drivers, our first cue that the car in front of us is slowing down is usually the brake lights coming on, because we can't visibly see those first couple mile-an-hour decreases that they're making. If they just let off the gas and start kind of coasting, it's harder to pick that up than it is the lights coming on. Well, with FSD, it's looking at the vehicle itself and gauging where it is in space, if it's closing the gap between you and it or extending that gap, and it knows real time pretty much everything within its sphere of influence. It's looking at all those cars and it's calculating where they are, their velocity, their acceleration or deceleration, their direction, and it's making all these decisions based on that. So it will pick up on a car slowing down before you ever see the lights come on, because they've let off the gas, they're getting ready to brake, and it already sees them slowing. And so sometimes it'll start slowing and you're like, why is it slowing down? And then you realize, oh, that car is slowing down already, I just couldn't see it. But I'm looking to check my time. I've got to be back at the hotel a little bit after 4. This is saying we got 5 minutes left to the pin that I dropped. You can see the Nashville skyline over the horizon over there. We're not going to go
In 1 mile,
all the way
take
into
James Madison
Nashville.
Parkway exit on the right.
But I think this distance is going to be just about right. I dropped a pin somewhere in a parking lot down here. I'm going to let it take us all the way there. It says we'll be there in 3 minutes. And then I'm going to put it on hurry, and I'm going to go back, and we'll see if we can pick out any differences. I mean, right now you can see that it's showing speed limit. The last speed limit that it saw, it was 55. Now it's showing 45. But with these speed profiles, it goes more like a human with the flow of traffic. So it's still going 64. And so far, it's been a very comfortable right with the flow of traffic. Looks like we're going to get off up here in quarter mile. James Robertson Parkway. So that's just taking this by. Nice, steady slow down. Nice, comfortable, very smooth. Slow down to mid-30s as we get off this exit ramp right here.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto Interstate Drive.
It really is funny, especially in a place that I'm not really familiar with. I don't have a clue where I am right now, other than I know that I'm going to my pin that I dropped. All right, so now we got a car trying to merge over. We need to be over in the far left lane to make the next turn, and it's going to get on over. Like, this is, I mean, so we just got off the exit ramp. It was a very short ramp before it merged on. We had a car merge over right in front of us. Looks like we're going to cross under this overpass and then make a left and then a right, and then we're in this parking lot. It's like the Nissan Stadium shuttle stop parking, just where I happened to drop the pin. But as you can see, I mean, I had it on video the whole time. I've not cut the video at all. I have not helped it one time, and I've not even adjusted the speed. I think that's one thing, the biggest improvement that I can see on version 13 is these speed profiles. It never went too slow where I had to bump the speed up. Too fast has never really been an issue. Most of, I mean, the things that I've had the issue with is just it going too slow, like 25 in a 45. And usually it's on country roads, so you don't usually see that as much on a highway like this anyway. But I hate these dead spots when you're sitting at turn lanes waiting, because I either have to edit them out or speed it up. Part of me wants to leave everything completely uncut so that you can tell that it's all happening the way that I'm describing it, and you're not seeing cuts in the film.
Now turn left onto Interstate Drive.
But it is kind of boring to sit and just watch a light. Making this left. And it's going to get on over to
now
the right.
Now turn right onto Woodland Street.
Take the right. Looks like there's a gate in the parking lot that I dropped the pin, so we may just have to make the block and I'll navigate back to the hotel, because it looks like this thing is under construction. But I will let it get over here to where it would turn into this gate that's blocked off. We are making the right, and you can see.
Now turn left.
Okay, I'm gonna disengage right there, because you can see there's a gate. There's basically a construction zone right here, so I'm taking that off. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end that trip. I'm going to navigate back to the Hampton Inn and Suites.
In 500 feet, turn right onto South 1st Street.
I'm going to engage it again. And so now I basically just said, all right, I don't really want to go here anymore. I want to go back to the hotel. I was in the far left lane because I was wanting to turn into that construction zone parking lot where I dropped my pin. It is now got all the way over 3 lanes, and like I said, I have no idea where I am. I'm somewhere in a random spot in Nashville or outside of Nashville, a little bit of a rough area, and I just said, you know what, I want to go back to the hotel. So I just changed it back to the hotel, re-engaged FSD, and now I just supervise. Oh yeah, let me change it. I'm going to change it from standard to hurry. So now it's on hurry. I'll have to look. I didn't look to see exactly what time I left the hotel, because I had to hook up the GoPros and everything in the parking lot.
In 500 feet, turn right onto Spring Street.
It's a rough road over here. Lots of potholes. wiper. And it will. So auto wipers are still not completely completely fixed. It's been kind of a running joke in the Tesla FSD circles, is the auto wipers. It's really funny because there's no like regular rain sensor. It uses the cameras just like it does for everything else for rain sensing, and it still doesn't quite have it nailed down. Sometimes in overcast skies or even in sunny skies, they'll just randomly wipe. So usually I leave them off just to avoid the frustration of if your wiper's wiping for no reason. And I don't know why it's not making the right on its own right now. I mean, there have been some cars coming, but there's been gaps large enough. It surprised me on hurry that it didn't go ahead and jump out there. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a nudge. Let it poke its nose out. Okay, so it looked and saw that they're slowing down and stopping. So it did take a little bit of nudge to get it to go that time, which is odd. But that's kind of one of those things, like I talked about. Sometimes in a yield lane, it'll want to stop, and you're like, no, all I got to do is yield and go. That was another one of those cases where it should have gone, could have gone, but it didn't hurt anything by sitting there. It's just kind of, it's more of an annoyance than any kind of safety issue. So right now it's about to do a little loop interchange.
Take the US 31E north ramp on the right.
31E, which looks like it's going back a different way than we came, which I guess is fine.
The US 31E north ramp on the right.
So far, I've not noticed any change with hurry. I'll have to play around with it on maybe some of the same streets and see if it acts differently. I mean, in theory, it should. But you know, even in standard on the way over, like I showed you, it was going 64 and a 55 to go with the flow of traffic. So I don't know what the difference is with hurry, if it's just a little more aggressive on lane changes as far as if it gets behind a slower vehicle, going ahead and making that change earlier. I'm not sure. We'll see if we can notice any difference on the way back. Steady right now. I guess you got some people getting out of work, headed out of Nashville. And I really like that. If we had been any closer to downtown, I wanted to go through some of the downtown areas where it's a little bit more complex and, you know, intersections and multiple turn lanes and one-way streets and all that kind of stuff. It's not too exciting on the highway, which is a good thing. I mean, it's just so smooth and it does such a good job on the highway. It doesn't make for the most entertaining video, but it does partially illustrate the point that it just is good at what it does. Right now it's showing 10 minutes for us to be back at the hotel. Just chilling, letting it do its thing. But I'll say too, and I made a little short video about stop and go traffic being one of the places that it's worth its weight in gold. Just not having to sit there and constantly watch, and then the car moves, and then you inch up, and then you have to stop. And I've gotten used to one pedal driving also, where you let off the accelerator, and the regen braking just seamlessly kicks in, slows you down, and then once you stop, you're stopped. You don't roll. Even if you're on a hill, even a pretty steep hill, or a very steep hill even, and there's a hold function. I think I'm seeing that might have been part of the hurry function there, because it really, when it saw a gap over here, and it got on over pretty quick. But now this line's going to speed up. I wonder if it's just a little bit more aggressive as far as swapping back and forth in the lanes instead of just chilling in one lane. Sorry for that train of thought break there. When it got over, it was pretty assertive, and I thought, well, maybe since it's in hurry, maybe that's kind of some of the stuff you see is that assertiveness. Anyway, yeah, back to traffic. So even if you're on a steep hill, when you let off the accelerator, it slows and stops, and then it holds you there, and it actually applies the mechanical brake at the end of that deceleration to almost like put on the parking brake, but it's automatic and seamless. So you don't have to worry about when you're in bumper to bumper and you're stopping and going and swapping from the gas to the brake to the gas to the brake. You don't have to worry about getting distracted and your car rolling up and bumping into the car in front of you or anything like that. It just does its thing. It just drives, and it'll inch forward when it needs to inch forward, and it won't when it doesn't need to. And if you're creeping up toward an exit that you've got to get off on, you may be 4 lanes across where you need to be, and it takes care of all that too. It'll inch you up, and it'll put on its blinker when it feels like it needs to start getting over that way. And when a car lets you over, it'll get over. Like you don't have to take over and do a maneuver and then go back. It really handles everything extremely well. Looks like our next exit's in a quarter of a mile, so we'll see how soon it decides to get over. It used to wait too late. This is months ago, really back before version 12. I would say it helped out itself a lot in version 12, not being quite so late getting over. But you can see, like that lane just split off. Another 2 lanes went that way. Where it really needs to go is to the right of this fork, which it took just fine. And now we're merging onto McGavick Pike. But anyway, so yeah, stop and go traffic. It's like a dream. You just sit there and it just does its thing. We're about to having to merge onto this other section of highway right here. We're going to merge in. Good if I had a camera facing to the back, I guess, but you can see the turn signal camera. When the left blinker comes on, that blind spot camera automatically pops up. When the blinker goes off, it switches back to rear view mirror. So if you can see that, I know it's kind of small on the GoPro, so it may not be real easy to see. Maybe you can, but that's the rear view mirror, and you can slide this over here if you'd rather have the map all over there, and then it just moves your turn by turn slightly so that it doesn't cover up anything. And you can also take this FSD visual, slide it all the way over, so now you can really see all the stuff that it's seeing in a visual depiction there. And it's kind of neat how it prioritizes the data that it really needs. So we're on a divided highway. It does show some of the cars over on the other side as they're coming over the hill, but it doesn't really care about those that much because they're not in a place where they can impact us at all. They're on the other side of a big concrete barrier. Really what it cares about is all these vehicles in these adjacent lanes. It doesn't worry about rendering the environment over here, you know, over here in by the river, or anything going on over here. It's not worried about using up processing power for that stuff. It's really just concerned about the cars and the people. So when you're in a downtown area, all the pedestrians that are walking around, you can see every single one of them that are in your sphere of influence, because it's also calculating where they are, and if they're moving, if they're walking toward the side of the road, and it's anticipating, are they going to walk out in front of us? Do we have time to get past before they walk out, or do we need to slow down? So here we've got an exit coming up in less than a mile, so it's making its way over. You can just see, I mean, it's very human-like as it's finding these gaps in traffic, moving itself over one lane at a time. You know, keeping appropriate distance based on the speed of all these other cars around us. So I do want to play with this profiles a bit more. There's a chill mode that's even, it's on the other directions. I started in standard for the drive over. I use hurry on the drive back, and there's a chill mode if you really don't want it, you know, just changing lanes a bunch, and you don't want it to go over the speed limit or anything.
Now take exit 12.
You put it on chill, and it's supposed to be even more chill.
In 500 feet, take the McGavin Pike.
I think I might like hurry. I couldn't see that much difference from standard to hurry. But the fact that hurry didn't seem overly fast, or like it was, you know, doing things that I wouldn't necessarily do. I think I may leave it on hurry, and I might switch back just to kind of test things out and see if I can see differences with them. But we're already coming back in.
In 500 feet,
we're almost back to the hotel now. We've got 1 minute before we're back. But so that, you pretty much have it there. I mean, that's basically it. We're turning into this little area where the hotels are. So that one spot right kind of in the middle of me, you know, getting to where I dropped the pin and coming back, that it was sitting at the red light, and it could have made the right on red. There were a couple times there was a big enough break in traffic that it could have made it. It's not necessarily wrong to sit there and wait, you know, but it's not what I would have done. I would have squeezed on out when there was a big enough gap. I did give it a little bit of acceleration there, just out of impatience, I guess. But it's getting more and more assertive. It's making decisions quicker, and just really, like, I don't know how else to explain it on the video. It doesn't really do it justice just to watch it. I hope that it conveys how it does somewhat, but you've got to
now turn right.
You've got to experience it. So really, for real, reach out to me if you've not experienced it before. Let me know if you want to go for a ride. Send me a text, a message on social media or something.
Feet, your destination will be on the left.
Yeah, just let me know, because I'd love to take you for a ride. We are back at the hotel now, so I'm going to stop it here and go get ready for this concert. And like I said, if you haven't seen For King & Country, go see them. If you've never experienced full self-driving, reach out to me, and we'll go for a ride. So that's all I got for now. See you on the next one. Thanks.